Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and today I'm joined by
Mark.
Steve. And we just finished playing Ragusa, which is a kind of trading in the Mediterranean style Euro. It does look very nice though. You can see at the end of the game here with all these little houses and everything built. Essentially you're trying to develop. At the start of the game the board is completely clear, and typically you start by building houses, I was orange here, around the outside and the outskirts. You need to acquire access to resources, so you can see you've got the wood, stone, this is silver ore here, and you track it on your own player board. So you can see at the moment I've got access to 3 wood. Each time you stick a house next to some wood, it gives you access to more wood, and you just kind of rotate the number as you get access to it. So if you look around, you'll see I've got houses. So this one here is giving me access to 2 wood, and that's my 3 wood there. You never kind of spend those resources. They're just like sort of prerequisites. You use them when triggering other buildings. Now ultimately you're then trying to build houses in the city here, and each of these spaces in the city will do different things. So for example, if you put a house next to the oil press here, then for every every oil you have here times the number of houses you've got next to this, then you're going to make olive oil. The tracks in the middle of the board track the commodities as they're called. So this is the wine, which obviously you're producing from your grapes. This is the olive oil, which comes from the olives, and then silver is coming from the silver ore. So you're acquiring these commodities in various ways, but the building requirements are quite important. If you want to build a house in these sort of rural areas, then for every house next to a particular hex, you have to have at least 1 wood. So this means I need to have 1 wood. This house over here also just means I need to have 1 wood. I'm trying to think, I don't actually have, oh here we go. This one here, because there's a house here and a house here next to this hex here, when I build this I would need to have access to 2 wood. That's fine though, I think I got my wood up to 3, technically it was, before I demonstrated that. So that's how that works, but then when it comes to building in the city, you need to have stone. So in order to build, say, on this hex here, because I've got 2 houses next to this, I would have to have 2 stone. And you can see I'm getting 1 stone from here, and my other stone from here. So you're building in here using the stone. And as I say, you can do things like convert your olives into olive oil, or there's a winery over here which lets you convert grapes into wine. But very importantly, when you kind of place a house and you build it, you get to do the thing, and every other house you have gets to do the thing. So in this case it's like 2 houses times the number of olives I have gives me olive oil. But then everyone else, you can see black's got a house under here, green's got a house in here. It just goes around clockwise according to the symbol, and everyone else gets to trigger the same space if they've already got a house there. So you kind of want to, you're racing to get the houses out, because the earlier you get them, the more they're getting triggered by other people when they play the houses. Now you can see there's also walls around the outside. If you go to the mason, you should build one of these wall pieces, and gradually as the game goes in, you can see we're walling in the city. This architect lets you build the various tower spaces around the outside of the board. When you build the walls, you're getting a few victory points for building the walls, but you're also getting endgame scoring for the longest connected section of towers and houses and walls you've got. So you can see this one here, I've managed to get my orange house underneath the green tower. So this means it's a continuous stretch for orange, see orange tower, wall, orange house, wall, orange tower, etc. But it's also a continuous stretch for green, green house, wall, green tower, etc. So you can kind of overlap with mixing the towers and the houses, which is quite nice. A few other things then. You are going to want to deal with the ships. There are some ships that are sailing into the harbour here, and if you go to the market, you can effectively buy the ship. Now the costs kind of get cheaper as you go to the left here, so you can pay 1 olive oil to take the ship, and that'll be worth 2 points. Some of them are more expensive and get you more things. You can see this, you have to pay silver. We don't have any, but some of them actually have extra costs on the card as well, which can increase the price. But whenever you spend one of these things, so you spend your silver to get the points here, but then the market price for silver goes down. There are some actually market prices, kind of VP prices for these things. So at the moment, silver is worth 2 VPs. And that's important when you go to the wharf. If you go to the wharf, you can actually sell for every house you have here. You can sell one of your commodities you've got here for the appropriate victory point. So if I were to go there and sell one of my silver, I would get 3 points because you can, oh no, sorry, this one is 2 points for silver. You're going to get the points according to the market value when you go to the wharf. You're also getting fish by going around the outside, and you can get points by going to the fishmonger, depending on how much fish you've got. The cathedral gives you end game points, so for every set of olive oil, wine and silver you've got, you're going to get points, again according to the kind of market value of points. There's quite a lot of points available there. And the Rector's Palace gives you bonus cards. There's a whole pile of these. You kind of get to take 2 and pick 1 to keep, but essentially getting points for other things. So in this case, for every one of these sort of ceramic things which you're going to get off the ships, you see the ships are bringing different resources. You've got clothing and spices and things. So these come off the ships, so that gives you points for those. But you could get points for, here are mine, for example, towers, or points for olives. You can get end game points for this as well. So as I say, you're going to get points for every wall, tower and house in your longest connected stretch. From there at the end, you get points from bonus cards at the end, and then also from having sets for going to the cathedral at the end. So there's quite a bit of sort of interplay triggering off each other, but essentially most points wins. What do we think?
Yeah, this is nice. It's by no means the most original game of all time, but it's easy to teach. The rules are fairly light, but work quite nicely. The strongest bits about it are certainly the triggering, as Jonathan was saying, because you do care what other people are doing, so there is investment, and I think people are going to be visiting this spot soon if you look at the boards. So if I go sooner, I'm going to get more actions ultimately later, so that's great. You care what other people are doing, like building the walls and stuff, keeping an eye on that. But I think, like, ultimately its biggest strength is that it's so quick. I think, including rules explanation, we were under an hour, and that's first play, first teach of rules. So, and it works really well in that time. It was the right length, this game. It's not heavy enough to go much longer. If it'd gone for another half an hour, that'd been too long. I'd have got started getting bored. But a 45-minute game for 4 players and a bit of rules teaching, it's really good.
Okay. Steve?
Not quite an engine builder, but you've got to kind of set up your resource production before you move into the city. So you go around the edge collecting your wood and your stone so that you can go into the city and get more off the action spaces. The longer you spend outside, the more wine, the more grapes you've got, the more silver you've got, the more stone you've got, which means when you go into the city, you get more stuff. But if you're going around spot second or even third, you're giving other people stuff for going there. So it's about timing, about when you go around there, first come to the spot. You don't really get a good action going to that spot, but you're going to get more actions off other people than you otherwise would if you go later. I really like it. It is big, like Mark said, its biggest strength is just the length of time it takes. It reminds me a bit of Gold West in terms of you've got 10 houses on your turn, you're having 10 actions, and it's just how you maximise those actions as you go through the game. It looks really nice when you've done, but it is fairly abstract. It is like a track resource pusher generating thing. But overall, yeah, I thought it was quite good.
Racing?
I'd play it again, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll give it 6.5.
Okay. Yeah, I think they summarised it well. It's just so quick. I mean, you kind of get into, you start planning, or I'll go here, and then I'll put this house down early, so hopefully I'll get lots of triggers when other people go around it. That's really nice. But you're kind of managing resources, and suddenly you're like, oh my goodness, I placed half my houses. We're kind of halfway through the game. It's just so quick. I need to get points, and you're rapidly then trying to think, how can I convert this into points? It feels like it should be a much longer game, but because it plays so quickly, I think it's like such a big plus for it. I'd say it's a little bit heavier than a family weight Euro, but actually because of the speed, I think it'd be perfect. Like, I can happily play this with my family, and they want to play it again, I'm sure, because it's just so quick. So it does that job really, really well. If you want the feel of a heavier Euro, but in a much shorter playing time, I think it does it really, really well. Right, my rating, I would give it 8 out of 10 actually. Thanks for watching. That was Ragusa.